It's hard to explain the feeling of knowing you got your life back. And it's one of the best feelings I ever experienced. And I'm just happy to be free.
Govan isn't free anymore after a federal magistrate ordered him held in custody, believing him to be a real danger to his ex-girlfriend, who had Memphis police and the National Guard protecting her home and her child.
Before we start, let me make this emphatically clear. I don't support no shit about violence against no child. So that's big OUT. The reason for the statements and all this shit, which I don't agree with, is simply this. You taking food from my kid's mouth, so I'm going to say whatever the hell I want to say. Because part of Hernandez Govan's income is doing interviews. The car was used to get back and forth to do interviews. It is what it is. I don't condone that shit. Don't like that shit happened. But today, two things happened. We found out some paperwork that has to be addressed because he officially got indicted today. But his attorney spoke out and said, this ain't really about that. And we're going to talk about that real quick. Let's listen to what the attorney has to say.
Tonight, Hernandez Govan, the man acquitted of being the mastermind behind the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph, sits in a federal lockup tonight, charged with cyberstalking. His attorney talked exclusively with Action News 5's Joyce Peterson tonight about new charges. And Joyce is now live for us. Joyce, does he think the feds went after him because he beat the rap in the Young Dolph case?
Well, that's certainly a question many are asking tonight, Andrew. Attorney Claiborne Ferguson stopped short of saying that Govan's latest legal troubles are payback for the Shelby County DA's office losing its case against him in the Young Dolph murder trial. But he said it is, quote, highly suspicious.
Do you think he was the mastermind of Young Dolph's murder?
Claiborne Ferguson is Hernandez Govan's new attorney for the new cyberstalking charges he faces. Arrested June 11th by Memphis police on state stalking and harassment charges, a misdemeanor, Govan was released the next day on a $4,000 bond. 12 hours later, he was arrested by federal authorities on the same charges, which carry a 5-year prison sentence in the federal system.
That is wildly unusual, especially on something that it would be charged and is charged as a misdemeanor in state court. Somebody had to really go out of their way in order to get that done. One of the things that we were looking at in the bond hearing was whether or not alcohol was involved, and that as the day went on, he lost more control over his decision making.
Do you think he was the mastermind behind Young Dolph's murder?
I don't know, but I do support the jury's verdict and believe that they came to the correct decision.
Ferguson also tells me tonight that Manny Aurora, the high-profile attorney out of Atlanta who successfully represented Govan in the Young Dolph murder trial, may be asked to help out in this case, too. The next step is asking the judge to reverse her decision to keep him behind bars. Live tonight in downtown Memphis, Joyce Peterson, Action News 5.
Whether you like Hernandez Govan or not, his attorney is right. Bruh, when the state picked up the charges, the state was like, it was only these two things. He was only facing a year, which realistically was going to end in probation, or maybe even charges dropped from the text messages that are alleged to be sent back and forth. But we know that this has to be about Young Dolph, because remember when he said this shit in his Vlad TV interview? Roll it.
So at that point, I was just concerned about me and my family.
Now, you got a plea deal offer from the state.
I did.
What was the deal?
It started off as 20.
20 years?
Yeah, 20 years at 30%. Then they went down to 15 after my attorney filed 16 motions against the state. We won 11 of them. And so they went down to 15.
When you say 30%, you have to serve 30% of the time?
Well, yeah, the 30% doesn't mean you're gonna actually be released at that. It's just the eligibility date for parole.
Okay. You know, you could end up doing the whole 15.
Yeah, you could.
Or more.
Yeah. You know, and with my record and with the nature of the charges, there's no way I would have made parole.
Okay.
After the 30% eligibility date. So we didn't think that was a good offer. I think was around the motions, right after the motions or whatever, they came. Some way, Manny, we negotiated another deal, and it was for 10 years. And so, the head district attorney, he wasn't against it. I think Manny talked him into it. At this point, we still felt like we could win. I think I kind of, prior to that, Manny was, we're going to try. We're not taking it. It's unreasonable. I told him a conversation that I had with my son, and my son was like, he wanted me to take the deal. And his position was, he'd rather lose me for a few years than the rest of my life.
Right, because you're facing life in prison.
Correct.
Do you have a death penalty?
And talked to them about it. And I had almost a year of jail credit already, so if I could get to the penal farm and do 3.5, 4 more years, I could possibly be home. So I just felt like that was the best thing to do. So I signed the deal, and they took the deal, and they went to the family, and the family rejected it and said they didn't, no deal.
The family of Young Dolph.
Family.
Now we have it set up for y'all. Y'all understand what the attorney is saying. Y'all understand why the Young Dolph shit plays a factor. Now you understand yesterday he was formally, finally indicted. Damn. The United States District Court for the Western District of Tennessee, Western Division. United States of America versus Hernandez Govan. Indictment. And y'all see the date over here? Yeah, 6/25/2026. I know what y'all is thinking, but it's real. It's here. Indictment. The grand jury charges count 1, threat of intentional disclosure of non-consensual intimate visual depictions. On or about June 3rd, 2026, in the Western District of Tennessee and elsewhere, the defendant, Hernandez Govan, did knowingly threaten for the purpose of intimidation, coercion, extortion, and to create mental distress to publish an intimate visual depiction of an identifiable individual, to wit, adult victim 1, in interstate and foreign commerce through the use of an interactive computer device, to wit, Facebook, without the consent of adult victim 1. And what was depicted in the intimate visual depiction was obtained or created under circumstances in which Govan knew or reasonably should have known adult victim 1 had a reasonable expectation of privacy and was not voluntarily exposed by adult victim 1 in a public or commercial setting, and was not a matter of public concern. In the publication of the intimate visual depiction caused and was intended to cause harm to adult victim 1 in violation of 47 USC 223 H2A, H4A, and H6A. Count 2. Cyberstalking. On or about June 3rd, 2026, in the Western District of Tennessee and elsewhere, the defendant, Hernandez Govan, did, with the intent to harass and intimidate adult victim 1, use any interactive computer service, any electronic communication service, any electronic communication system of interstate commerce, and any other facility of interstate foreign commerce to engage in a course of conduct, including sending iMessages and an audio message to adult victim 1 in which Govan threatened to commit acts of violence and publish intimate visual depictions that placed adult victim 1 in reasonable fear of death or serious bodily injury, and caused and attempted to cause and would reasonably be expected to cause substantial emotional distress to victim 1, all in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Sections 2261A, 2A, and B, and 2261B5. A true bill for a person. June 25th, 2026. Damn.
The feds say he threatened to shoot up her home because she owed him $540, calling and texting saying, "The National Guard can watch your house all day. I don't give an expletive about no police, National Guard, or nothing." The criminal complaint said Govan also threatened to post explicit photos of her on social media. All the threats made on the same day.
Now, here's the terrible part. You get to actually see what the counts are as far as the time that he would have to serve on all of this shit. Right here, you have the notice of penalties, and this is where shit get ugly right here. Notice of penalties, count 1, 2 years imprisonment, $250,000 fine, or both 1 year supervised release and a mandatory special assessment, then 5 years imprisonment, $250,000 fine, or both 3 years supervised release and a mandatory special assessment of $100. It's $100 on both of them. Then you get right here, bruh, and this is where it gets crazily, right? Because he wanted a reconsideration and appeal for order of detention, meaning he wanted a bond. And it says, come now, defendant Hernandez Govan, by and through counsel, and respectfully submits this motion for reconsideration and appeal of the order of detention and support thereof. Defendant Hernandez Govan will submit the following to this court. Mr. Govan was charged with violation of 18 U.S.C. 2261A, which involves the use of a telecommunication device to harass another person. The initial charge stemmed from a telephone harassment case that has since escalated. Mr. Govan asserts that the underlying facts of the case involve him being a victim of a scam. The alleged victim, an acquaintance, solicited $500 from the defendant under the pretense of assisting him in renting a vehicle. After providing the funds, the acquaintance failed to fulfill her promise, prompting a series of communications by the defendant to recover the funds. Mr. Govan has never committed any act of violence against the acquaintance and possessed no weapons or instruments that could be deemed lethal. The communications between the parties reflect the frustration of a victim attempting to recover funds rather than any attempt to harass or harm. The pretrial services officer reviewed the relevant factors, including the nature of the charges and Mr. Govan's history, and recommended a $10,000 unsecured bond. The magistrate's judge's ruling did not adequately consider this recommendation or the factors supporting a less restrictive means of addressing the court's concerns. Mr. Govan has consistently complied with all court orders and has appeared punctually for all scheduled court dates. He has demonstrated a commitment to addressing the charges against him and has not attempted to evade prosecution. Mr. Govan has strong ties to the community and family, including a young son with severe autism who relies on him for support. Detention would severely impact both Mr. Govan's ability to prepare his defense and his family's well-being. For the reasons stated above, Mr. Govan respectfully requests that this court reconsider the order of detention and grant a bond in the amount of $10,000 with conditions that would allow him to remain free while adequately addressing the courtroom's concerns regarding safety and flight risk. Wherefore, the defendant Hernandez Govan respectfully requests that this honorable court grant this motion for reconsideration and appeal of the order of detention, allowing for the issuance of a bond under reasonable conditions. Respectfully submitted, attorney for defendant, Perry Griffin. So y'all can see. And then y'all had a certificate of service. Just so y'all know, electronic central filing system. That's what ECF is. Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to it. All in all, man, it goes like this. Y'all can say what y'all want to say, meaning the feds, meaning the state. But at a certain point in time, we do look at certain things like how Boosie's lawyer was able to point out to the goddamn state attorney over there in California. And some of y'all would say, well, Ceddy Nash is state and feds and all this shit and everything. True, but the initial judge didn't deem it that damn crazy of him when they granted him a bond. So I think he'll be getting a bond based on the fact of a prior judge's ruling. But then again, you could say, and I would if I was combating myself, when asked, these are new charges and different charges. But I would say this to anybody who would say that. The same factor still exists. You could have cyberstalking in goddamn Tennessee. So I don't know. This shit just, to me, this doesn't rise to the mother flipping level of the goddamn feds. It just doesn't. But you can't go around making threats on people, trying to expose shit with them naked on there and all that. Like, you got to be way smarter than that. So in that instance, bro, you brought it on yourself. One thing for certain, two things for sure. When you go legit, can't nobody stop shit. It would have been better you'd have went to Hertz or Enterprise or Hefty or Avis or whomever. You would have avoided all of this shit. It gets to a point where it's like, bruh, you're in your 40s. Act like it. Conduct business like it. Does he deserve this shit, in my opinion? Nah. But it's a hell of a lesson, man. You got to elevate the way in which you do shit. And I can't say nothing about that because when people put themselves in situations, you put yourselves in situations. You had the ability to not give that woman a penny, and it's not his girlfriend. That's I would like to break what the relationship is, but I'm not gonna do that. But that's not his girlfriend. There wasn't nobody he was fucking. So there's that. But as I was saying, you had the ability before you even gave that person money to not give them money at all. And the research and the history that you should do on individuals has to be at a constant. Had that man just decided to say, you know what, F all that, then it would have been that. Because it's not like he was running around broke. It's not like he couldn't have went legit. It's not like you couldn't have hired certain people. Like you can hire tax attorneys if you had a tax problem. You can hire whatever attorneys for whatever problems you have. It's not like Hernandez Govan was running around here broke. Trust me, I personally know because I helped him out with a bunch of fucking things. So it is what it is. No, I ain't pay him no money or nothing like that. I just put him in connection with the right people to converse with my connections and all this shit. Didn't charge a penny, don't want a penny. All you owe me is hard work. But that's why I don't fuck with everybody. Anybody that I mess with, the people that y'all see me really, really mess with, they'll tell you, man, Ceddy Nash will put me on tens of thousands of dollars. Hernandez Govan included, and other cats. Now, if they want to come out and say that shit, cool. If they don't, it's not on them to say. But y'all, let me know y'all thoughts on this one. We got some shit that's about to drop in a couple of hours, so make sure you spin the block. You know what I'm saying? We 10K away from these two things giveaway. Subscribe today, comment every video, like every video, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Click right here to see how Chud the Grifter went from women to men to T. Click right here for that video or click right here for the playlist, and I'll catch you on the next one on this happy Friday.